Okay, good. Very nice. Very
But
good.
the introduction is more than what it is, Prabhu. It takes a long time to read slowly.
Okay. Some other time I will tell you about the mystery of introduction.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Dhira Krishna Prabhu, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Kamlesh ji, Hare Krishna. Bhuvika Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Gupta ji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Back home.
Yeah, on the way, as usual.
As usual. Okay. Renuka ji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Fine. So let's begin our discussions on Bhagavad Gita. 9th chapter. Today we're going to complete this chapter. Last 3 verses are there. Okay. So let's offer our praise to Prabhupada and Lord Krishna. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki jai. Shri Shri Rithai Gauranga ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Rithai Gaur Premanande. So we have been discussing from the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, titled The Most Confidential Knowledge. So Krishna is revealing many confidential aspects about his personality in this chapter. And also he has revealed the truths about how this material world is working, and many things which we are totally unaware of, how everything in the material world is controlled, managed, and minutely being supervised by Krishna. And Krishna's hand is in every aspect of the creation. Is managing this world. And understanding this, Krishna says that we have to make him as our goal in life, and make him as the object of the enjoyment of all our activities, all our sacrifices, and all the arrangements which Krishna has made for our subsistence is for us to understand that he is the only enjoyer and we are his subordinates. So Krishna says that whatever you eat, you offer it to me in love and devotion. Whatever you do, whatever you sacrifice, do it as an offering to me. This Krishna has given many instructions repeatedly to make us understand that as spirit souls, our only duty is to serve him. We are all his part and parcels. So this constitutes very most confidential knowledge, devotional service to Krishna, pure devotional service to Krishna. So Krishna, having explained this much, from verse 29 onwards, he was explaining how his devotees are very dear to him. Of course, with regard to this material world, Lord is equal to everybody, right? He is not partial to anyone. He is equal to everyone. But it may apparently look like he is just showing partiality to some, and especially devotees who are serving him. So Krishna says this is not unnatural, this is natural. Just like a father is having love towards his own children. Likewise, Krishna is actually showing his favor to his devotees because they want to be intimately connected with him. This is not something very unnatural, right? So let's say the king is equal to everybody, all citizens, but with his children he has more affection. So likewise, the devotees are those personalities who have keeping Krishna in their hearts and their completely absorbed in only serving Krishna. So in that way, Krishna's reciprocation also, we understood how the partiality towards devotees is not something which is to be complained of. This is the way Lord is actually manifesting his causeless mercy, special mercy. Because Lord wants that all the living entities, especially in human form, should surrender to him. But the living entities don't want to surrender to him. Krishna is not forcing them. Because surrendering to Krishna and serving to Krishna is good for everybody, every living entity. But they have forgotten and trying to do so many things, which is actually making them, go in this material world repeatedly in different species of life. So Krishna in that way is trying to warn all the living entities that yes, sooner you come back to your position of serving him, that will help you. If you don't come to this normal situation, as Prabhupada says, the living entity's pure state is to be a devotee. Sooner the living entities realize this, it is good for them. And in this line of understanding, Krishna also mentioned that such devotees who are bhajate mam ananya bhak, who are 24 hours always engaged in Krishna's service, sometimes apparently they will look like they have deviated or they have fallen away from the situation of actual path of devotion. But that is only accidental, circumstantial, because Krishna is very much within their hearts, and soon he will see that they are back in the track. So Krishna says we should never consider such devotees for their accidental fall down or circumstantial off track from the path of devotion to be something abominable. As Krishna is telling, it is my opinion. You should understand that they are actually devotees on the right path. And this accidental fall down is all because they are struggling with Maya to fight against Maya's different forces. So this is expected. Right? Fight against Maya means sometimes Maya becomes very powerful, and the sadhaka, struggling sadhaka, sometimes has to succumb to some circumstances. So, but nevertheless, this should not be taken as an excuse. Devotees, very soon Prabhupada says, no one should take advantage of this situation. Oh, Krishna is telling, when if you do abominable activities, no problem. No. The devotee is always trying to improve his character, Prabhupada says, by devotional service. Then that is what a devotee is constantly trying to better his position with regard to his dedication to Krishna, his sincere service to Krishna. Right? Then only he is only seeing how he is moving forward in his path of devotion. Right? So Krishna says, such a devotee, very soon he is reinstated in his position of pure devotion. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma, in verse 31 he said. And then why? Because Krishna's assurance is so wonderful for his pure devotees. His reciprocation with devotees is so wonderful. Krishna is always kept in the devotee's heart by their devotion. Right? They don't want to forget Krishna. Circumstantially, it may look like they have gone off track. But because they're trying to keep Krishna in their heart, Krishna, who is all merciful, he sees that the devotees are again brought back to the right path of devotion. Right? Very soon they'll come back to their position of devotion. So having said this much, now Krishna is going to talk about, okay, this is about devotees. What about others who are considered to be, at least from the social perspective in the Vedic times, what is known as Papa Yonis, or as Prabhupada says, born of a lower family. So Krishna says there are personalities in verse 32. Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepe syu papa yonaya striyo vaishya satha shudras tepi yanti param gatim. This verse is often misunderstood. You have to understand this in a proper way. So here, see, so far Krishna has told very clearly about he being very impartial to everybody in terms of he is maintaining, providing them with all the necessities of life. But nevertheless, because devotees are dedicating themselves dependent completely on Krishna, Krishna also reciprocates to them accordingly. This is his declaration in Bhagavad Gita. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sadaiva bhajami. Right? Anybody who wants to surrender to Krishna, proportionate to their surrender, Krishna also reciprocates. That is his way of functioning. Right? And you don't want Krishna as his own maintaining you through the loss of. Right? It's like a child who is helplessly dependent on their parents. Also take care of the child without the child asking anything further. So likewise, the Lord also accordingly with any living entity who wants to render service to him. So this being the situation, here Krishna is telling about in the social system, there are some personalities of lower birth, right? Higher and lower, based on the situation in development of Krishna point. So when Krishna is telling Papa Yoni, it only means that they are a little unfortunate with the devotional service seriously, right? So Krishna says even they who are considered to be not so fortunate in taking up devotional service, like women, Shudras, Vaishyas, and Prabhupada mentions many other classes of people in the purport. Even if they take shelter of Krishna, particularly take shelter of Krishna, completely take shelter of Krishna or Krishna's representative, even though they may be considered to be of very degraded birth, doesn't matter. They also will achieve the supreme destination, which means Krishna is very clearly telling here that with performance with devotional service, your birth is not a criteria. Anybody can perform devotional service. Devotional service is transcendental. Ahituki apratiyata. Your qualification, your birth, your other disqualification from the material point of view is not a hindrance in performance of devotion. Very wonderful point which Krishna is making here. Right? Very clearly Krishna is telling that devotional service to Krishna, there is no such distinction with regard to lower or higher classes of people. This low or high class is all made by human society. Distinction, discrimination is based on some parameters with regard to their own comforts and their own privileges which they want to enjoy in society. But Krishna says all these classifications, higher, lower, maybe it may be required for some social functioning, but this is not a hindrance for anybody to become devotee of Krishna. Right? Material life, there will be discrimination. Just like you travel in a train, there is general class, sleeper class, and air-conditioned class. Again, in that also there's divisions, 3, 2, 1. So there's going to be such discrimination because all of us are carrying different baggages of karma. One thing we have to understand, in the material world, nobody can be made equal to everybody. Because laws of karma are like that. Everybody is carrying different baggages of karma. So this modern day communistic idea of making everybody equal is a utopia. As Prabhupada says, it is nonsense. It is only because we cannot make everybody equal from material point of view. Because everybody is carrying different types of our baggages of past action reaction cycles. This is an established fact. And there are different types of people, different types of inclinations, different types of intelligence. Things cannot be made equal at all anytime. There are gradations. So different types of existences of people in this world only means that they're all coming with different types of karmas, backgrounds. So whatever your karma is, irrespective of your karma, it doesn't matter. You can become a nice devotee of Krishna. That's the point. Right? So basically, Krishna is telling us here that the performance of devotional service is not dependent on your any pre-qualification. There are many verses in Bhagavatam, especially Prahlad Maharaj prays to Lord Narasimha that, even though he was born in a demoniac family, nevertheless, by the mercy of his guru, Narada Muni, he got opportunity to perform devotion to Lord. So like this, he says how birth, our our education, or our beauty, or our wealth, or different things, different ways, people are being classified in this world, even in modern society. All these classifications or discriminations are not sort of any obstacles for performance of devotion. Very important point. So why it is so? Krishna is hinting here, or is giving indication. Why? Because when anybody who is from any background, maybe he's from the, why not, even from the degraded background of not following any principles of Vedic culture, doesn't matter. But if he has seriously taken shelter or taking association of pure devotees, there's a very nice statement in the Bhagavatam, wherein Shukadeva Goswami, he lists different varieties of humans who are all drifted away from Vedic culture. See, there are, when it is said, 84 lakh species of life, in that 4 lakh are humans. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, out of these 4 lakhs, many of them are uncivilized. Uncivilized meaning, they don't know the purpose of life. They're just living like animals, aborigines, or some very tribes. Civilized doesn't mean, you have big cities, motor cars, and then all this. Civilized means knowing the values of life, knowing the real purpose of life. As Krishna was chastising Arjuna in the very beginning of the second chapter. Anarya Justam Asvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. And Arjuna was so much morose and grief-stricken. And he kept his bow and arrows on his chariot, and the warrior who was supposed to fight in a very bravely, he is crying, telling that I cannot kill my own relatives, my own people. My mind is reeling, my hands, my body is shivering, the Gandiva is slipping from my hand. Like this, he started becoming very overwhelmed by compassion. So Krishna, on a friendly platform, he chastised his friend Arjuna by telling, "You are anarya justam." It is not befitting a person who is supposed to be called as Arya. Arya means a person who knows the progressive values of life, Prabhupada says. That this life is not simply meant for like animalistic way of living, of eating, sleeping, mating, defending. It is meant for understanding that I am spirit soul. I'm supposed to awaken my consciousness towards that understanding and work in the direction. Like progressive values of life. So there are many such varieties of humans which are listed in, few are listed in the Bhagavata in a prayer by Shukadeva Goswami to Lord Krishna. He says, Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Shumba Yavana Kasadaya Yenye cha Papa Yadapashrayashraya Shuddhyanti Tasmai Prabha Vishnave Nama. Kirata, Huna, Andhra, Pulinda, Prabhupada says, it's all different tribes and sects in different parts of the world. Huna, Prabhupada says, Germans. Andhra, Grata, Una, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulinda means Greeks. Pulkasha, Abhira, Shumbha, Yavana, all these races, now we're all fighting in the Middle East. They're all called, Yavanas, Mlechas. Right? Like this, they're all listed in Bhagavata. So, Shukadeva Goswami says, any of those, different types of human tribes or categories who are lower comparatively, in the Vedic culture, the division of Varnashrama is what every human being is supposed to follow. About Varnashrama, we discussed previously also, that based on the guna and karma, the society is divided into 4 divisions. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. They are not caste. They are based on the inclination of work and the type of qualities you have acquired from your previous birth, right? Somebody is inclined to study the Vedic scriptures and want to become well versed and want to educate the society. They are called Brahmanas. And somebody who has the power to administer the state, take care of the welfare of citizens, they are called Kshatriyas, administrators. Intellectual class, administrative class, and there are people who don't want to study scriptures, who don't want to take the responsibility of administration. Rather, they want to do business. They want to do agriculture. They want to do trade. They want to do cow protection. They are called Vaishyas or businessmen. And there are one more class of people who don't want to take any of these responsibilities, but they want to assist all of them. They are called Shudras. So these divisions in social order were all based on the different guna and karma, not based on birth. Right? A person, a child may be born in a family of Shudras who is having inclination to become a Brahmana. Possible. Or a child born in a Brahmana family want to become a Kshatriya by his inclination and work. It's like telling Prabhupada says, how just because a child is born in to doctor parents doesn't mean the child will become a doctor. He has to be qualified to become a doctor. Of course, to become doctor, there is good opportunity, but nevertheless, he has to qualify. That's how it is. So, these divisions of society of higher class, lower class is based on the inclination of work, and as per the Vedic culture, yes, below them, they're all called Chandalas. We heard of this word Chandala earlier also in 5th chapter. Right? Krishna says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Kavi Astini Shuni Choyva Shapa Kecha. Chandala means dog eaters. Even now there are many tribes of humans in the northeastern parts of India and China and other places where they eat dogs. They're considered to be low caste. So there are many such tribes who are all aborigines or considered to be much lower than the other classes of other varnas, other 4 varnas, who are totally drifted away from the Vedic culture. Even they, Prabhupada says, if they can take up the process of devotional service under the guidance of a pure devotee, this guidance of a pure devotee and the performance of devotion is so strong, very powerful, very potent. Prabha Vishnave Namaha, Shukadeva Goswami says, that anyone can be elevated to the platform of pure devotion. The practical example is Prabhupada's, his own demonstration of going to American continent and converting or rather transforming the hippies, those drug addict youngsters who are totally no idea of Vedic culture. You can say they're all coming from this background, totally unaware of what is the Aryan culture. Because they got the association of a pure devotee and guidance of a pure devotee to perform devotional service, that elevated them to become the highest personalities, Vaishnavas. Yes, see. So Krishna is telling us here. Krishna is making a very important point. everyone can be eligible for the supreme destination, Param Gatim. Nobody can be deprived. So, a man's body, a woman's body, right? There is a psychological difference. Being born in a woman's body is considered to be, as at least according to Vedic culture, they are less intelligent, at least in terms of understanding Vedic in terms of material dealings, basically. But with regard to spiritual understanding, everybody is qualified. Everybody can become very qualified. We have examples of Queen Kunti, Draupadi, Gandhari, very qualified, women. So, from the material point of view, there is a difference. This is always a debate with Prabhupada whenever he was traveling in the American different states in 1970s about women liberation. How, you are discriminating between men and women. Prabhupada says the difference will be there always. You cannot make everybody equal. Prabhupada always challenged. Okay, now women will become pregnant, they deliver babies. So why not men become pregnant and deliver babies? It's possible. Not possible. Some things, as per the way Krishna has made this world, it has to function that way. So Prabhupada always said, women are always required to be protected. They are vulnerable with regard to being exploited. They need protection. In the name of liberation, men are exploiting women. So like this, Prabhupada was, pointing out to the root cause of the social problems. So women, at least from the material point of view, are considered to be, mild, soft-natured, or not so aggressive like men. But trying to bring them to the level of men is artificial way of trying to be equalizing things. Like, nowadays with all the caste reservations, you're trying to put people who are unqualified in a position which requires qualification. So all this is creating a lot of disruption in society, in the way of society's functioning. So these are all very scientific way of seeing things. There should be no bias in this. What is fact is a fact. So these divisions of society also are based on your spiritual understanding, spiritual way of seeing things. Right? Materially, you are classified in a particular way based on your inclination to work and because of your previous karma. But that doesn't become a hindrance for you to perform devotion. That's what Krishna is telling us here. Whatever background you are having, whatever birth you have, whatever qualification you have, whatever education you have, whatever looks you have, doesn't matter. Right? You simply accept the process of devotional service under the guidance of a pure devotee. Then what happens? This process itself is so strong, so potent, that everyone can elevate or come to the highest perfection of life. Prabhupada repeats 2 times. Only thing is that we have to take complete shelter of Krishna. That's all. Then one will become greater than any jnani or yogi. Just see. Anybody who is chanting Hare Krishna is greater than a jnani or a yogi. Krishna says in 6th chapter also. One who is a yogi is greater than a karmi, jnani, right? Jnanopi adidiko mataha, Krishna says in 6th chapter towards the end. Right? So like this, there are, in Bhagavad Gita itself, there are so many references with regard to how devotional service is transcendental. Tapasibhyo adhiko yogi, jnanibhyopi mato adhikaha, karmibhyopi chadhiko yogi. Yogi is better than a tapasvi, greater than a jnani, greater than a karmi. Therefore, become a yogi only, Krishna says. Rasma yogi bhavarjuna. So like this, Krishna is again and again reiterating the point that devotional service, as Krishna mentioned in the beginning of this chapter, Raja Vidya Raja Gukhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. This is transcendental. This is the highest or the most confidential understanding. Raja Gukhyam, Raja Vidya, it is the most highest knowledge. And this is beyond any activity in the material world. Simply have to follow in the right way, authorized way, under the direction of a pure devotee. That's all. Then anybody can be delivered. So again, Krishna is glorifying the power of devotion and how devotional service is indiscriminatory. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he mentioned that Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kene Naya. Say Krishna Tattva, say Guru Hai. While he was meeting one great devotee by name Ramananda Rai. Externally, Ramananda Rai was a Shudra. He was a government servant. But internally, he was a great devotee. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while touring South India, he happened to meet Ramananda Rai. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the position of a student. And he was asking questions to Ramananda Rai about devotional service to Krishna. Ramananda Rai was initially hesitant to take up the role of speaking to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and giving him the lessons on devotion. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "You are the knower of devotional aspects of Krishna, devotional science of Krishna. Say Krishna Tattva Vedta. You know Krishna Tattva, science of devotion to Krishna. So you are a guru." So clearly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu demonstrated that birth or any other material qualification is immaterial, or material disqualification is immaterial. The only thing is your devotion to Krishna is what matters. Haridas Thakur, by birth he was a Mohammedan, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him the title Namacharya Haridas Thakur. Right? He is the Acharya of the holy name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally, did the final rites of Haridas Thakur when after Haridas Thakur left his body. That is the greatness of Haridas Thakur. Just see. So this is all again and again demonstrations from Lord himself, Prabhupada, how birth or any material disqualifications are not at all a disqualification for service to Krishna. The only qualification required by us is sincerely try to follow the instructions of a pure devotee and perform our devotional service. That's what Krishna says. Mami Partha Vyapashritya. Vyapashritya is a very wonderful word. Particularly taking shelter, Prabhupada says. Ashritya means taking shelter. Vyapashritya means particularly taking shelter. Here shelter means taking guidance from Krishna directly or Krishna's representative. Both are same. What Krishna explained in the beginning of 7th chapter. Maya Sakta Manapartha Yogam Yundan Madashraya. Ashraya, Ashritya are all same. When Krishna says Madashraya means either he or his representative, pure representative. Okay, this is the understanding. So, this verse again is confirming that devotional service is transcendental. All externals are immaterial. Very important. Next, Krishna says further in the same line of thought, in verse 33, Kim puna brahmana punya bhakta rajashrayas tatha anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvama. So how much greater then are the brahmanas, the righteous, the devotees and saintly kings who in this temporary miserable world engage in loving devotional service unto me. So here Krishna is specifically pointing out, okay, even people who are low-born or from the material point of view, they are having a degraded birth. They also, if they take shelter of pure devotee and follow the process of devotion, they get the highest perfection. And what to speak of already who are supposedly be in a position of a better situation of performance of devotion, just like the Brahmanas. They are the topmost in the Varnashrama, in the Varna system, right? Then there are very punya people, means people who have done a lot of pious credits, pious activities, righteous people. They are straightforward, righteous people, always doing good to others. And there are bhakta jana, devotees, and rajarshis. Krishna mentioned about rajarshis in the 4th chapter beginning, right? Krishna selected sun god as the recipient of the knowledge of Gita many millions of years ago because the king's responsibility was to broadcast this knowledge of signs of God to everybody. And the king's duty is not only give material welfare, his equal responsibility was to give welfare of the spiritual aspect of everybody's life. You see? So in that way, the four categories of other fortunate people, like the Brahmanas, or the pious people, or the devotees, or the saintly kings, Raja Rishis. They're not simply kings, they are saintly kings. What to speak about them? Krishna says. How much more fortunate they are. And they don't want to be in this material world, which is anityam asukham lokam. Anityam means it is temporary. Nitya means permanent. Anitya means temporary. And asukham means it is full of miseries. It is dukkha loka. Right? So, all of these personalities are all sincerely endeavoring to come out of this material world. And they're engaging in my imam prapya bhajasvamam. They're only engaging in my devotional service to come out of this repetition of cycle of birth and death. Right? So a similar phrase of material world was given by Krishna in the 8th chapter, 15th verse. Krishna said, Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Right? Anityam asukam lokam was described as dukkhalayam ashashvatam. A place of miseries and temporariness. Ashashvata means temporary place. Anityam asukam lokam. See, again, repetition of these things are important because we have to understand this world is not a place fit for us. Prabhupada says, this place is not a fit place for any sane gentleman. Very striking words. You want to be an up-to-date gentleman, but this is not a place for you. You have to go to spiritual world. Because why this place is, it is not fit for you? Because this world is temporary and full of miseries. Not habitable for any gentleman purpose. That is a different matter. You have no sense, you will not be here. This world is characterized by these qualities. Better you come out of this, because whatever you do here, you cannot be. That is how the material world is designed. You have to be always situated in a situation, in a condition of constant miseries. Every day, just half an hour you see the news, whatever news it is, TV or television or newspaper, you only see miseries, 99%. Right? One misery or one more misery is waiting. Right? Now, there's a big tornado in America, which is blowing away everything there. Correct, no, Sushilaji? Big news it is. Big stadiums are being blown away. The top, the roofs. So like this, even the safest place on the earth, you may think, it is not considered to be safe. The wars going on in the Middle East, if you just go through details of them, it is so scary, the way they're all fighting. They're fighting like, as Prabhupada says, cats and dogs. You attack suddenly overnight and, you take away some civilians as hostages. And to take a revenge on that, one country took some 250 people as hostages. Other country will bombard and kill out 50,000 people. Just see. And this is all internationally known. Everybody is seeing this, what is happening every day. It's all indication that very soon there will be a world war. Right? So the people there, how the dictates of few leaders for power, for supremacy, for the personal aggrandizement, how they don't care about the common man's, even their normal life is being distorted. I heard in the Middle East, there are supplies coming from the United Nations as aid. That also is being restricted. They are the other, the enemy country is being kept under abject poverty. Just see. If you read those details, go through those, whatever little here and there we keep seeing and reading as to know what is going on in the world. It only shows to what level the humanity has, degraded to. It's already miserable world. You're making it more miserable. As Prabhupada says, by inventing nuclear bomb, you're not doing anything, good for society. Supposed to be good, but you're only accelerating death. What is the use? Death anyway you have to have, but you will die more faster, more nicely, wholesale. So, what is the point? Krishna says, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkha, Doshanu, Darshanam. Birth, death, old age, disease, they're all real miseries, real dukkha. They are all real asukha. So Krishna says in the previous chapter also, not only here on this earth, from Brahma Loka down to Patala Loka, all places of misery. Anywhere you go, this is how it is. Not only this Brahmanda, any Brahmanda in the material world is the same problem. Right? Repeatedly we are going to go through sufferings. Nobody wants to die, but we die. Right? Yesterday, we had such a great personality in our country. Mr. Tata is no more. Where he has gone, nobody knows. Right? You may be the best person in the material world from material estimation. Very honest, sincere, hardworking, so much of praise. But where the soul has gone, nobody knows. So this always is a mystery for everybody. Right? So just being in the material world, to be a very nice person, very good person, and doing all your things very nicely from the material point of view, Krishna says of no benefit. Right? You may get a better birth, again continue same thing, again repetition of birth and death. What is the point? Because Krishna is declaring again and again, in his Bhagavad Gita, this is a temporary world full of miseries. This will go through cycle of this. In this chapter only we have read how Krishna says there is creation, there is maintenance, there is destruction. Again, when destroyed, all of us go into the body of Mahavishnu. Again, we are born. It's like this repetition of birth, death, creation, maintenance, destruction is happening. So it is like constantly we are told, today you're going to bomb your house. What you will do? With whatever little belongings, you run from that house. Go to one more place. Tomorrow again, indication, direction. I'll bomb you again in this house also. So you run. You keep running. How many times you'll run like this? That's what is happening in our body. Maybe it is a span of 60, 70 years. But it is being bombed. But such a bomb that you'll not even know where I'll go again, which family I'll be with don't know. Just see the situation of our life. So Prabhupada is, in different ways trying to explain to us. You may be of very, degraded birth from the material estimation, doesn't matter. Or you may be very nicely positioned from the even spiritual point of view. As a pious man, a good man, well-placed king, or very big businessman, Mr. Tata. But this is not a place for you to stay. That's what Krishna is telling. Prabhupada says, even Arjuna, he is from a very good, royal saintly family. For him also Lord is telling, Arjuna, take to devotional service and come back to me quickly. Not that you are a nice, from a good family, you have Pandava Vamsha, Kuru Vamsha, you are very nice, you stay back here more. No. Come back soon, quickly. Just see. So, we should understand, nothing in the material world can give you actual, happiness. Nothing in the material world, desiring anything in the material world will not give you real satisfaction. We have to understand that devotional service is the only way by which all problems of this, of our life will be solved. Right? Everyone should be only desiring that. Anyavilashita shunyam jnana karma janavritam. So in this verse and the next verse, we'll see this particular principle which Rupa Goswami explains as the definition of bhakti. No other desire other than serving Krishna. Jnana karma dhyanavrtam. No other desire to enjoy in the material world. Karma. That you do, this you do, you'll enjoy this. Or, oh, I'm fed up with this way of working in the material world. I want to, understand about the different aspects in the material world. Prabhupada meets a scientist, physicist in Los Angeles. He is asking Prabhupada, we are so much advanced in science that we are studying a blade of grass. We know the structure of the grass, what molecules, how it is. Prabhupada says, what is the use? Whether you know or don't know, grass will anyway grow. Better you study the creator of the grass, by which you will be benefited. So Prabhupada is trying to point out, simply studying the world around you with regard to no connection with God, like that you can write volumes and volumes of books and make encyclopedias and fill the libraries and do research papers on so many topics. But without any understanding of Krishna or coming to conclusion that Krishna is the source of everything, is useless. Right? So, like this, the living entity is having so. Prabhupada says vasanas. Vasana means, like how you smell. When you are cooking something, very nice, some cooking item in the kitchen, that vasana will come. Okay, you're making nice pakodas, or you're making nice parathas, right? Or some sweet is being cooked. You can sense it now. Like that, we are all trying to make different plans in the material world. They are called vasanas. It's called kama vasanas, right? These kama vasanas are so many within our existence right now. So many that we are making kama sankalpas. Think that these plans I have to fulfill like this. Strong false belief systems that this will make me happy. And we have kama drishtis. Kama vasana, kama sankalpa, kama drishti. Right? Like this, our whole way of working is like this, going on. Our perceptions, our conceptions are all having so many materialistic plans. And as Prahlad Maharaj says, Maya Sukhaya. Oh, so nice, illusory happiness. Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimudha. We are so think that all this way of material world, happiness and all these things is so good that, then Vimukha, you are totally averse to Krishna's service. Like this, we are going on in the material world. So even the most intelligent human being in the material world, if he doesn't have Krishna consciousness, he is considered to be, what does Krishna say in 7th chapter? Naradhama. His knowledge has been stolen away by Maya. Maya aparata jnana. Just see. Very strong words Krishna uses. To understand the right perspective. The bottom line of everything is you become a devotee of Krishna. That's all. Anything else is immaterial. So the last and final verse, very important verse, which Prabhupada quotes often. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evaishyasi yuktavaivam atmanam matparayanaha. So Krishna is telling 4 things. Manmana, engage your mind always in thinking of me. Bhava madbhakto, become my devotee. Madhyaji, worship me. Mam namaskuru, you offer your obeisances to me. These things if you do, mam eva eshyasi, you will surely come to me. Why? Because you have absorbed your mind. Yuktvayavam atmanam. You absorbed your mind and you're devoted to me completely. Mat parayana. So, if you are engaging yourself in these 4 activities of always thinking of Krishna, becoming his devotee, and trying to worship him and trying to offer obeisances to him, Krishna says, your mind is so absorbed in me, you have become so devoted to me that you will come to me surely. Definitely you will come, Krishna is telling. Krishna repeats this verse. There are 2 verses in Bhagavad Gita which is repeated. This is one of the verses. This verse again is repeated in 18th chapter, towards the end. Again in 3rd chapter we saw one verse, right, which Krishna repeats in 18th chapter again. Okay, it's about again varnas. Krishna says that, you take out that verse. It is verse 35 in 3rd chapter. Shreyan swadharmo viguna paradharma svanushtita swadharma nidanam shreyas paradharmo bhayava. This verse again repeated. So there are 2 verses which is repeated in Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So here Krishna is very clearly telling what we should do. So we should engage our mind in meditating upon or thinking of Krishna's eternal form. Very important. Krishna has an eternal form. Krishna's form is Satchidananda. This conviction. Prabhupada says this conviction is important. This conviction, if you have, you become a devotee. Krishna is supreme. He is so supreme, just like in the material world, when somebody is great, you would like to adore him, you want to glorify him. So similarly, he is worshipable. The different things which Krishna says is all, in sequence it follows. Right? When somebody is so great, so supreme, that's what Krishna has explained in this 7th, 8th, 9th chapters. How he is supreme. Matta Bharataram Nanyat. He is so supreme that you have to worship him, you have to adore him. Right? You should engage himself in his worship. And Prabhupada says there are so many temples, hundreds and thousands of temples to worship Krishna, and devotional service is practiced there. And when you go to temple, first thing you should do is we should offer your obeisances. How to offer obeisances? Prabhupada explains. One should lower his head before the deity and engage his mind, body, and activities, everything. Very important. Not that we go to temple and simply stand like this. Thinking, oh, who is the one more person standing? I am greater than him. No. Thing is, we should lower your head. That is called obeisances. And the proper way of offering obeisances is to fall flat. That is called dandavat. Right? To Krishna and Vishnu deities. It is Krishna, we offer obeisances from left to right. Not head on. Left to right we offer obeisances. And then when you are offering obeisances, it means that you are offering your mind, body, and activities. Kaya, vacha, manasa. Everything for Krishna's service. So basically, your whole existence is meant to be used for service to Krishna. That is called complete absorption without deviation. Right? So Krishna says, if you are absorbed like this in thinking of Krishna in different ways, Prabhupada says the easiest way to think of Krishna is to chant Hare Krishna. And when you chant Hare Krishna every day without fail, then you are called a devotee. And you are offering your worship in that way by chanting and hearing the Lord's holy names. And you are offering your obeisances to him in that way. By remembering or rather, repeating his holy names. So like this, any activity you do, chanting or reading Bhagavad Gita, everything is having this wonderful principle. The whole principle is, the whole background with this is to absorb our mind yuktaivam atmanam matparayana. Absorb your mind in Krishna's devotion. So we should not deviate our minds to here and there. That's what Krishna wants. Ananya chintayanto mam. Right? There are 9 different processes of devotional service. Anything we can engage, either one of them, or 2 of them, or all of them. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Atmanivedam. So 9 devotional service, 9 types of devotional service are there. So this is what is the purpose of life. And Krishna very clearly says in this chapter only. Because Krishna says, when you are engaged in my service like this, I will take care of you, that you will not go off track, that you will not fall down, no chance of fall down. Because Krishna is assured, he takes care of his pure devotees. In verse 22 and verse 29, this chapter. Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. And what does he say in 29th verse? We read just now. Samoham sarvabhuteshu navedveshu sinapriya. Ye bhajanti to maam bhaktya. Devotee is always absorbed in thinking of Krishna. Krishna always is absorbed in seeing that his devotee's welfare. So, taking up devotional service is the sign of intelligence. Right? So, that way, even in the material world, you want to live happily, perform devotional service. Otherwise, material world is anityam asukham. So, here Prabhupada gives some understanding. Prabhupada is a little big purport. I want you to read carefully, all of you. Basically, Prabhupada is pointing out how this verse is misunderstood in the by these great scholars, as Prabhupada mentions, unscrupulous commentators. Right? They are not authorized to comment, but they go into this commenting on Krishna's words. Right? So such people, Prabhupada says, they are unscrupulous commentators. Let me, So what does the dictionary meaning of unscrupulous is unprincipled, right? Immoral, unethical. This is the meaning of unscrupulous. Okay, so they don't even know what is what. Prabhupada uses this word unscrupulous commentators 3 times in the purport. Okay, so unscrupulous commentators, they don't know the science of Krishna or the devotion to Krishna. For us, Krishna and Krishna's everything is Krishna only, not different. Krishna's Nama, Krishna's Rupa, Krishna's Leela, Krishna's Guna are as good as Krishna. We don't discriminate because Krishna is absolute. Advaya Jnana it is called. Whereas these unscrupulous commentators, unethical, immoral commentators, because they don't have devotional background, they comment in a way, Krishna who is speaking is different from something within Krishna. They want to confuse people with so many things like this. This Gita is spoken by somebody within Krishna, not that Krishna. They're discriminating. So, because these people are totally oblivious to the science of Krishna, Prabhupada says, such commentators make such very misleading commentaries. Right? So, we should never read such commentaries, Prabhupada says. Very clearly, Krishna is telling here that only way to deliver from this Anitya Asukha Loka is devotional service to him. So, in this chapter is clearly established that Krishna is not an ordinary person. Right? A person who is managing this whole cosmic creation. All aspects are happening under his control. Who is there, the person who can tell these things? Or who can actually demonstrate these things? Krishna is that person. And such a person has a spiritual identity, spiritual personality, Sachidananda identity. And devotion to him should be, as Krishna said in the previous verse, it should be ahaituki. Rather, it should be without any material desires. Anyavilashita shunyam gyan karma dinavritam anukulyena Krishna anushilanam. The devotional service should be favorably done. Prabhupada says one should cultivate the aspect of devotional service favorably. Favorably means You should learn the science of devotion to Krishna from authorized devotees. Prabhupada says, right? Means the way Krishna wants us to perform devotion, or to perform devotion. What does Krishna say? You offer food like this to me. These are the items of offerings. Patram, Pushpam, Phalam is called favorable, which means what Krishna wants. We should do that. Not that what we want, we'll offer until that is prasada. That is wrong, right? So like this, Prabhupada very clearly explains that coming to this level of pure devotion to Krishna is what Krishna is expecting. And when you do this, Krishna is assuring, giving us guarantee, you will come to me, surely. This is my guarantee. And if anybody is doing or settling down with any other process, Prabhupada says, if they are settling down with, God means Nirakara, God means Paramatma, they are not come to this level of purification or perfection. That's the point. Very clear. So, in this verse, it's a very wonderful verse, which Prabhupada has explained in his purport, and many places Prabhupada has quoted this verse extensively. Right? Every time you read this verse, it should hit on our mind. Okay, Krishna is asking for 4 things. We should think of him always. We should become his devotee. We should worship him. We should offer obeisances to him. And Prabhupada has explained how to do this. Think of Krishna not as ordinary person, as Supreme Personality, as Sachidananda Personality, as Krishna has explained in Bhagavad Gita. Right? And with heart, with conviction in heart. Devotee means he is fully convinced that Krishna is supreme, and he wants to dedicate his life for his service. That is devotee. And that personality, Krishna is so wonderful, so great that only worship is to be him. It should be given to him, nothing else. And all our namaskar to be only to him, nobody else. That is the point. Right? The due respect to anybody, every other living entity is given, but the highest worship, highest type of a surrender is to only Krishna. That's the point. So, this completes our this chapter, 9th chapter, which is called the most confidential knowledge. Parama Guhya Jnana or Raja Vidya. Okay, so we will conclude here. If anybody is going to ask, discuss, we'll take a few questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Lord, we are in quality equal with the Lord in terms that we are also Sachidananda as the Lord is. So that Sachidananda means actually we have got ourselves into a difficult position in this Anityam Asukham world only because of the coverings we are having. So if that coverings are removed through this process of devotional service, then we'll get back our original constitutional position as total eternal bliss with complete knowledge. So Prabhuji, that means that state will have no mind, of course, no gross body. So it will be that is the pure state which we will experience only when we are liberated, right, Prabhuji? When we are...
You can experience the little glimpse now also.
Mm.
Our understanding should be very, you've expressed it. Maybe I wanted to make it more clear for all the others to understand. When we say that material coverings is all, we are enwrapped in material coverings.
Yes.
So what is material covering? It is not as simple as, some few cloths and few wrappers and few papers and nothing. No. It's all from gross to subtle, very gross to subtle. Gross means the elements, the body elements. Body, what you see as skin, then blood, mucus, bone. This is one covering. There is one more next level of covering called subtle covering of mind, intelligence, and ego. There's one more level of covering called polluted consciousness. So there are these different levels of coverings. So Prabhupada is giving us directions, indications, how to purify all these different types of coverings. The whole, root problem is at the consciousness level. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, which means our consciousness right now, which is actually supposed to be Krishna conscious, always, it is not not having any symptoms of Krishna consciousness. Rather, it is only thinking about so many things. It's like when Krishna says Man Mana Bhava, your mind has to be filled with something, some thoughts. Right now, that when you say covering, it's like my body is right now covered by this white shirt, which means I have a body. Likewise, because the Atma has a specific spiritual body with spiritual mind, spiritual senses, spiritual intelligence. That's why we have got this body. But right now, the spiritual senses, spiritual intelligence, everything is sleeping. Right? So all our spiritual faculties are right now sleeping. And the spiritual existence of ours is completely, in a state of slumber. And that spiritual entity has given the power of attorney to this mind, material mind. Krishna has created one more identity with regard to the material body. Same replica he has made. It's like this dress. Prabhupada says, I have this. If I open this shirt, you will see this shirt has a hand. Shirt has a neck. Why? Because I have a hand, I have a neck as a person. So the material body is actually, Krishna says in 2nd chapter, that it is a covering, dress. Dress will have all the features of your actual body. But it is only animated or worked upon when you as a person is working with that. So right now, the problem with us in the material world is we are identifying with this dress as ourselves. Okay, because of which this wrong identification, everything we do, everything we interact with in the material world, we are wrongly say identifying, and misidentification and illusory way of functioning it is happening. So Krishna consciousness means we are trying to take or we're trying to get in touch with the spiritual energy of Krishna in the form of holy name, in the form of Gita's instructions, or in the form of prasada of Krishna, wherein the spiritual input is going in and awakening our spiritual existence. Is right now sleeping. Right? It's the other way. Like when the spiritual input is going in, then slowly it will be awakened because the purification.
Right.
So your point of what is the spiritual existence will be? Spiritual existence will be within this body when your consciousness is completely purified, awakened. The whole process of Krishna consciousness is purification. Our consciousness is right now having the conception of I am the body, and bodily connections and material sense gratification is what my consciousness is predominantly filled with. When your consciousness is filled with Krishna and Krishna connected aspects, and only Krishna's absorption in your mind and consciousness, everything is Krishna's. This body is for Krishna. I'll not do anything without. It is not for Krishna's service. I'll not do anything. This is the way your consciousness is. That is called Krishna consciousness. Right? So Prabhupada explained in the 29th verse in the purport, if you see, the phrase Krishna consciousness suggests those who are in such consciousness are living transcendentalists situated in Krishna. So it's not that you're going to experience something different.
No.
After you leave this body. No.
It's a gradual process, Prabhuji. Yes.
You're diseased now. As you start taking the input of Krishna consciousness processes, with regard to chanting, hearing, reading, your level of how you want to take this Krishna consciousness, because Krishna's mercy is raining. How much you want to take is left to you. Right? If you can read Bhagavad Gita, in 2 days you can complete. Okay, if you read 24 hours, you read continuously, just for your eating and little sleeping, you want to spend time. If you read for 18 hours, in 36 hours you can read. Right, possible. But where is the determination for us to read so much? So this all depends on with what intensity and what seriousness you want to take Krishna consciousness. To that level, Krishna reciprocates.
The revelation will be there.
Exactly. Revelation will happen. That's what Krishna says. So it's not that, when you are living, unless this body, whatever time Krishna wants us to be in this body, you will be in this body, but you will be a different person with evolved consciousness. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kamshati. You will be a different person with regard to your perception and your outlook. With regard to, you're not seeing the material world as like any other person sees. You're seeing from Krishna's perspective. Right? Prabhupada says he's a living transcendentalist. Prabhupada, example. He was a living transcendentalist. He may look like, like us only. A person who is not, aware of Krishna conscious principles, he will see Prabhupada as, it's like Krishna also says in his chapter. One who doesn't know about Krishna's transcendental nature, they see him as an ordinary person. Avajananti maamuda manushim tanumashita. Like us only, he is also. But his consciousness is different. He's performing, acting in a different platform. What does Krishna say in 5th chapter? Sparshan, Jigran, he says different things. How in the material world, when we function, we see, we act, we smell. Like Krishna says, a person in divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, breathing, etc., etc., he always knows that only material senses are engaged in their objects. He is aloof from them. Krishna explained the situation of a fully awakened Krishna conscious person.
Like Ambarish Maharaj, Prabhuji.
Yes, Ambarish Maharaj was a fully realized person. So they are all living transcendentalists. The 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is about that only. When you evolve that level of consciousness, what will be your symptoms? Very clearly it is mentioned. Krishna says, when you come to this level of consciousness, na prahishet priyam prapya, no dvijet prapya cha priyam. In verse number 20, in 5th chapter, Krishna says, he is neither rejoicing upon obtaining something pleasant, nor is he lamenting upon obtaining something unpleasant. You see, this is the type of a maturity he has got. Okay, so it's a matter of our evolving and graduating to that consciousness by our sincere endeavor to. I want to become Krishna conscious. I want to become seriously involved in Krishna's service. This is what your determination is. Other things, what Krishna wants to bestow upon, is left to him. But from your side, what is your sincerity? Yes, because I am sincere doesn't mean Krishna has to sanction. No. Krishna's free will. It is, of course, Lord is very merciful. It is a different matter. But from our side, what is our endeavor? Is the point. So, the coverings are from very gross to very subtle. And as you go subtler, the coverings are very thick. So thick that even the most advanced transcendentalists, they succumb to Maya's different allurements. That is the risk. As Krishna Prabhupada says, even great transcendentalists like Vishwamitra Muni, all of them, they were all such great yogis. But even then, they were allured by Maya's different, because Maya also will give you different tests. You're not even, taken up Krishna consciousness. Maya is very happy. No, why? It already is in my control. No problem. Little you want to go, then Maya starts pulling your leg. More you want to go, then Maya will pull more with more firmness. That's what it is. So, which means the coverings, as you're telling, the coverings are more subtler and more fine that you can't even know it is Maya. It looks like you're very, very much convinced that Krishna consciousness only it is. No, it is like, it is an imitation or a sort of it looks like. So, Prabhupada says, when you have, always at any stage of your advancement in Krishna consciousness, always have your confirmation of your level of advancement with the authorities, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Otherwise, you will think yourself, just like Mayavadis think, I am liberated. But Bhagavatam says you think you are liberated, but you are avishuddha buddhaya. Your intelligence is impure. So like that. So basically, the consciousness evolvement, evolution is very important, and that is what all of us have to endeavor. And that can be as you proportionately are progressing, your experience of devotional, reciprocation from Krishna happens. To the level of your realization, you start relishing Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is always relishable for anybody, but it will be more relishable as you same Bhagavad Gita after maybe 2 years, you'll understand more nicely than what you're reading now. That's what all of us are experiencing. When you started reading Gita, I could understand little. Now, I can understand better. Definitely, as I move forward, continue my devotional service, Krishna will bestow mercy. Which means the realization and the happiness in Krishna consciousness, sky is the limit. It is not that, you come to one level means over. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Anandambudi Vardhanam. It is ever increasing ocean of bliss. More you dive into this, more you want to experience. That's why the happiness which Radharani is experiencing by performing devotion to Krishna is so wonderful. Even Krishna wanted to experience it. That's why he took the form of, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself in the mood of Radharani. You see, Krishna also wanted to relish. What is that? My devotion is so wonderful that, my devotee Radharani is experiencing so much of happiness. Even I am not able to know that. You see, this is how it is. All devotional service is so, great, so enchanting. It's not that in material world things are okay, done means okay, over. Nothing more than that. Level of saturations is there. No, spiritual means is very dynamic and ever expanding and ever increasing, and it is like very enchanting, enlivening. Okay, fine.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Correct.
Krishna.
Fine. Any other question or any other comment? Krishna. So by Lord Krishna's mercy, Prabhupada's mercy, we have completed 50% of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Over on an auspicious occasion of Dasa. Okay, so Lord's mercy, Lord Krishna's mercy, Lord Ramchandra's mercy, that we are able to complete. So let's read these 9 chapters nicely, thoroughly. Okay, 9 chapters is having all the complete. Actually, Gita should end with this 9 chapters, practically speaking, because the most confidential knowledge, the end is what Krishna says. Right? But next chapter you'll see what Krishna further says.
Is further mercy,
more confidential.
is more mercy for us.
I will give you more confidential knowledge, he says. More than this. In next chapter. Just see. Because he's seeing Arjuna is so eager to hear more and more. Otherwise, Gita will end 9th chapter. Right? The more one hears about Krishna, more one becomes fiction devotional. So Krishna wants to give more. Let's see how it is. So merciful to us. Okay. So we'll close here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare